Big round of AFL football, round 21. We kick it off, Mark McVeigh with Carlton Geelong. Friday night at Etihad should be a full house for a very interesting game.
Yeah, it will be, and I think Geelong are a really good side. They're going to play finals, we know that, have been a great side for a long time. We'll beat Carlton, but it will be a good game.
Juddy going around, Waite in form, the Blues, Mick's even smiling. I think there's something to look forward to if you're a Blues fan.
Well, even Juddy in his press conference said, I think this list has got some room to grow and he wants to go on for another year, so he sees something in that list.
Okay, Sydney St Kilda should be an easy act for the Swans. Lenny Hayes doing the farewell tour.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see Lenny back in front of his home crowd, Pennant Hills boy, but Sydney too strong. They're going really, really well. Buddy gets another game under his belt and Henry should win. Okay,
Gold Coast, aren't they just limping at the moment? But so too are Port Adelaide. This could be a very interesting affair. If the Suns get Port, well, Port could... Well, they don't deserve to be in the finals.
I agree, but Port need to win the game. They need some confidence going into September if they're going to challenge it all. Gold Coast are in trouble in terms of their injury, but Port Adelaide, with their class, they're banging down the door. They should win this game.
They weren't hopeless against the Swans. They just outclassed, I suppose, in the end. Now, Essendon, they were disappointing last week. The West Coast, on the other hand, were fantastic and didn't look too bruised and battered, and they come across to face your guys at Etihad.
Well, Essendon are in a bit of trouble in terms of their injury as well. Dustin Fletcher ruled out for the rest of the season.
Not to mention the off-field stuff.
Yeah, that's happening a bit, isn't it? But Essendon, I think Essendon play Etihad really well for the Victorian sides, and West Coast struggled to come over and beat them over there.
Collingwood take on Brisbane. The Pies were woeful last week, and if they lose against Brisbane, well, Nathan Buckley's future could be under pressure.
Yeah, and look, Collingwood are a side that you just don't know what you're going to get at the moment. They get Dane Swan back into the side, but at the MCG in front of their home crowd, they should win the game.
The thing that got me last week was Cloak, 8 possessions till three-quarter time.
I mean,
he's good against teams he should be good at. He struggles sometimes against the big games when he should be there. There's just something missing sometimes.
Yeah, and Nathan Buckley is trying to tinker his side as much as he possibly can. They need to get into that 8, don't they? They're just outside, so they'll be gunning for the win.
Okay, well, normally the 9th position is taken by Richmond. They've won half a dozen or so in a row. They take on the Crows, who were good. This will be a really good game at Adelaide Oval.
It's hard to believe Richmond in this position. And
every year?
Yeah, but they just, if they could just put this form together early and get wins in the bank. But look, they're going really well. I think they win the game. They're playing a good brand at the moment and they're confident.
They're a top 4 side if they can manage to stretch this form out throughout the entire season. But they just sometimes go missing. North Melbourne, Western Bulldogs, high-scoring game guaranteed.
Absolutely, and I've seen North play really well against the Giants, who are undermanned obviously, but played some good footy. North Melbourne must win the game. It'll be a defensive game. They must make sure that they don't have a shootout. And a lot of teams are doing that at the moment. If North Melbourne are going to play in the finals, defend the ground and kick plenty of goals. Okay, well, Melbourne GWS might not be one of the games of the ages, but one team's going to get 4 points, I would think, unless it's a draw. Who's that team going to be? Not much to this. Giants, heap of injuries, all in surgery, Melbourne win.
Fremantle Hawthorn, probably the game of the weekend, late on Sunday afternoon at Patterson's. No roughhead for the Hawks. Dockers have to stand up and really show they're a top 3 team, top 2 team.
Yeah, I agree, and they need some confidence as well. Ross Lyon has been frustrated by their form, and Roughhead, he's a massive out. He's kicked 5 goals in a couple of weeks in a row. He's in outstanding form, so Fremantle win.
Okay, let's have a look at the tips from Spike on screen. Geelong in the opening game Friday night. Sydney easily over the Saints. Port Adelaide to bounce back. The Bombers over the Eagles. Collingwood against the Lions. Richmond to continue their winning form. North the same. Melbourne to beat the Giants, and Fremantle over the Hawks.